Roman at the University of Alabama, taking place on tomorrow. Crimson Tide looking to turn the page and take on Mississippi State on tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central Time kickoff from Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa. You're rocking and rolling on a Friday TGIF edition of the show, hottest show on the streets, bringing you your Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Happy to have each and every last one of you in here. We're bringing you the show from the magic city of Birmingham, streaming this to you on YouTube. Speaking of the channel, go ahead right now, hit that like button, smash the like button, run those likes up. Let's get this show 50 likes right now. Appreciate the support coming from each and every last one of you. Also, hit that subscribe button right now. Get every friend, every family member, every diehard Bama fan, every casual Bama fan, every Bama fan that you know that eat, sleep, breathe, can't move without Alabama football to hit that subscribe button. Make this your show, your network platform channel and space here to talk Bama. Turn all of those notifications on, hit that little bell so that way you miss nothing when it comes to Crimson Tide football. We got you covered here on Facebook and Twitter as well, streaming to you the show. Also, we appreciate all donations here to the show. If you guys know, the daily super chat goes $75. Daily super chat goes $75. Appreciate all donations. All donations welcome. But hey, if that's not your thing, still like the show. Give us that thumbs up. We appreciate the support there coming from all of you. But we want to hear from the Bama Nation on this evening. Got a lot of things to talk about, including catching up with my man Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for TDA. He was at the Carver High School versus Pike Road High School game on yesterday, looking at two of the biggest targets for Alabama in the 2023 class, and that be James Smith, the massive defensive lineman, and Quay Rusall, the linebacker from Carver High School in Montgomery. So definitely to catch up with Justin on that. But want to hear from you tonight. You can do this by calling 205-448-1358. But I'm going to call in to let your voice be heard on the show. 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Guys, shout out my man Big Bill. Bill from New York already starting us out with that $5 donation in the Super Chats. Showing love right there. But we get into topic number one here of the conversation, and that being, Alabama trying to turn the page here. Trying to turn the page to Mississippi State. Everybody's talking about the loss to Tennessee and how bad it was and how rough it was and how disappointing it was and how Alabama did not look like Alabama and how the sky is falling and all of these different statements being used. Of course, you have different members of national media saying Coach Saban did a lousy job, his lousiest coaching job since taking over in 2007. Nobody's afraid of Alabama anymore. No one fears Bama anymore. No one respects Alabama football anymore. Alabama just looked god-awful against Tennessee. I mean, everybody is continuing to kind of rehash here the Tennessee game. And as rough as it all was, the chance to run the table, get to the SEC championship, and potentially win a national title is still right there in front of the Crimson Tide. But Alabama this week trying to turn the page. Nick Saban set to turn the page as you look at Mississippi State on tomorrow, taking on Mike Leach inside Bryant-Denny on homecoming. A big chance here for the Tide to right this ship and get everything back on track here. And it's going to start with the players in this leadership council. And I'm referring to, Bryce Young, Will Anderson, Henry To'o, Jordan Battle, and DJ Dale. Like, the anxiety, if you will, has to end with this group. And last week, Nick Saban talked about it, and Will Anderson spoke about it. If a team had high anxiety coming out of the locker room, coming out of the tunnel before kickoff against Tennessee, after going through a whole week of practice, getting prepared for the game, getting set for the game, and in the game itself, you're supposed to be having fun or running around the field, flying fast, knocking guys' heads off, just enjoying the sport that you've played since you're 5 years old. You've got, Alabama defense coming out of a tunnel, tight, and the leader of this defense, Will Anderson, saying our guys had some anxiety out there. So, the anxiety has to end with this group. Anderson, Young, Battle, Henry T, DJ Dale, the anxiety has to end with this group. Because if those guys are saying anxiety, then what example is that setting for the freshmen and sophomores, the younger players, when you have the guys of the leadership group talking to the media about, anxiety? And I understand you're going to have nerves in everything that you do, but the moment where you make that first big hit, the moment where those pads are strapped up, that helmet is strapped up, you got to be prepared and ready to get out on the field and handle your job and handle that business out there on the field. So the anxiety's got to end with this group. And moving on from that, looking at this matchup here against Mississippi State, Mike Leach is going to throw some things at this defense. Alabama's got to be able to combat that. And in order for it to, run the table, you got to have your performances from the Bryce Youngs and the Will Andersons of the world. If you're going to make this push, you're starting against the Bulldogs. Now, Bryce Young's going to do his thing. We saw last week, Bryce Young got hit, decked several times, a lot of unnecessary hits, one that should have been called for targeting, but I digress, or at least a late 15-yard penalty, but I digress. We still saw Bryce Young go out there and give it everything he had on the field. Where Will Anderson is concerned, he cannot have a game where he's got a big goose egg in the stat column in terms of sacks. I think Will Anderson had 3 tackles, 1 solo tackle. I don't think he had a tackle for loss in the game. Didn't have a quarterback hurry. Didn't have a sack. Will Anderson, for as elite as he is, and we're talking about somebody that could potentially be the number 1 overall player taken in next year's draft coming up April for 2023, you cannot leave a game without having a sack by your stat column, or at least leave a game without having a quarterback pressure by your stat column. So, he's got to come up. He's got to turn up. He's got to be better. He's got to do more in these big games where he has to be the man. He has to be the guy. In big games, 31's got to show up in those games. And Tennessee, here recently now, the biggest game, 31 did not show up the way that we have grown accustomed to seeing him show up in these matchups. So if Alabama's going to try to run this table here in the SEC West, dominating the rest of its regular season schedule, get to the conference championship game, and have hopes of winning a national title, 31, Will Anderson, the Terminator, got to terminate some people out here on this field from this week on moving forward. So got to run the table against in the SEC. It's got to start this week here where the Crimson Tide are concerned, and not overlooking Mississippi State. I get it. Tennessee, rough loss. The way it ended, nobody predicted that. But you cannot overlook State. They're coming in here 5-2. Mike Leach, a lot of confidence here. Will Rogers, one of the best quarterbacks in this conference, 24 touchdowns, 3 picks. The Bulldogs do run the football too. Offensively, they got weapons at wide receiver. They got guys that can get up and down the field, catch the football, make plays, and create separation. Defensively, they got players. They got Jet Johnson, a big-time linebacker. They got Nathaniel Watson, another big linebacker. They got Emmanuel Forbes, one of the best cornerbacks in the country. Leads the nation, definitely leads the SEC with 5 picks. 2 of those returned for touchdowns. So Alabama cannot, by any means necessary, overlook Mississippi State in this matchup because they're going to come with it. After watching the tape from the Tennessee game, Bulldogs are going to come with it here in this matchup. They normally play scrappy. They normally play hard. They normally give you a game. And they've been giving Alabama a game since Coach Saban came to Tuscaloosa in 2007. However, though, Alabama football has also had its best games against Mississippi State coming after a loss. And there's been about 4 to 5 times in the Saban era where Alabama has lost a matchup prior to Mississippi State, and then they go against State and they lay it on the Bulldogs. Prime example, you go back to last season. They lost by 3 to Texas A&M, 41-38 at Kyle Field. What does Alabama do? The very next week, it goes on the road to Mississippi State in Stark Vegas, and they put it on the Cowbells 49-9. So we've seen this happen before where this rivalry for the battle for Highway 82 is concerned. But this time around, after taking a loss to Tennessee and dropping from 3 to 6 in the poll, and now it's no longer Bryce Young at the top of the Heisman race, but it's Hendon Hooker for Tennessee. Not saying that Bryce Young needs the second Heisman trophy because he's going after a national championship as a starting quarterback. The point being here, after what took place last week, do we see hungry, determined, dominant, focused Alabama back at the forefront? We're going to be able to check this out here on Saturday. But we take our first break here on the show and touch that dial because upon our return, we go to the phone lines, we grab your calls, we get your thoughts, we get your conversations. Light us up on a Friday. We'll be back right after this.
You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace today by visiting weownthefourthquarter.com. Throw them foes up.
9 players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
Back into the action here, folks. From the break, hottest show on the streets here. Talking Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. If you haven't done so, folks, go ahead, hit that like button right now. Smash the like button. Give us that thumbs up. Make this your show, your network, platform, channel, and space to talk Bama football. We're looking for 50 likes right now. Getting this show up to 50 likes. Appreciate the support coming from all of you. Also, all donations welcome. All donations appreciated. That daily super chat goes $75. Daily super chat go there. Thanks for all the love and the support, because it's you, the fans, that make this show what it is. But we go to the phone lines now to grab your calls. The call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. Number to call in to let your voice be heard, 205-448-1358. We grab this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
This is young Tyler from Birmingham, man. Hey, what you got going on, Steve Smith?
What I got going on, man? I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. You got homecoming tomorrow for Bama against Mississippi State. I mean, I just want to see a team coming out fired up. I mean, after last weekend, I'm hearing Nick Saban say the guys ain't chanting and Will Anderson saying we had a little bit of anxiety. I'm like, I want y'all to come out with some fire Saturday. Come out with some fire. Be ready to play.
I got a couple of key points, if that's okay. All right.
Go ahead.
With the Tennessee game, we know, everybody knows there's a lot of teams. The referee was celebrating Tennessee touchdown, all right? First thing first, if I was Nick Saban, at the end of the season, I'd tell Bill O'Brien and Pete Golding, I got to let you go. No hard feelings. I got to let you go. Because ever since Bill O'Brien and Pete Golding took over the defense, my team lost their power. They lost their fight. They lost their will. Then the offense play calling, they playing too finesse, too cute, and too pretty. We need these players get their nails dirty. You know what I'm saying? We need some hard players right now. Because the defense is playing soft. When we had Kirby Smart, German Pruitt, we had that line beating. We had players come from jail just to play for Alabama. Now these players, like, they just playing too finesse game, man. Like, they scared to get their nail dirty or get some hits. Like, when people used to come to Alabama, the burgundy or the red suit, whatever they come in at, that stands for blood. These players put these jerseys on, don't get no type of blood on it. Don't get not nail scratch. They playing too pretty. They playing too scared. They playing finesse ball. We need some hard hitter players. When Will Anderson first came on media day, he like, we're gonna play fast, we're gonna hit people hard, we're gonna hit them in the mouth. Because Georgia last year, we're hitting people in the mouth. We're hitting Alabama hard in the SEC championship, and they were getting brutalized in the championship. So, only thing I need to say, if I were Bill O'Brien and Pete Golden, y'all need to go and sack y'all bags up and go ahead to the near exit, man. Because we can't allow that. The Bama standard was, we're going to play physical, we're going to hit hard, we're going to make team leave, we're going to make the whole fan leave out the whole stadium and leave it empty. They ain't doing that now, man. So I'm finna end my little rant because I'm mad because Alabama is playing. It's laughing stock of college football right now, man. Everybody laughing at us right now. And we in Birmingham. We hear it all. We hear it all when we go to work, go to church, the pastor talking about us. Like, come on, man. That's very embarrassing, man. That's very embarrassing, man. So I'm finna get off the radio and get off of YouTube and let you handle your thing, Steven. But I like your show. Keep doing what you're doing, man. And Bama got to get back to the Bama standard. Cause all this finessing and playing scared ball, it's not working for us, man. So we just need some new coaches or something. Or Nick Saban need to get back to his old staff, or call Kirby Smart, call Steve and Teddy Boy and Bo Davis, call all on back and tell them we need them. Cause Alabama need them right now. But all right, man, I'm finna end my rant, man. Take it easy, Steve.
Appreciate Kyler from Birmingham getting us started here on a Friday. We grabbed this call. You're on the show. It's happening. How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Steven, I'll tell you what, I've been joking around here with the people in the chat. I had, my TV came on. I'd had a little battle here with a snake today. I may need to call Uncle Charles and see how he's getting rid of them cockroaches. I need some help with these snakes. Reckon Uncle Charles can help me with them?
I think he can, man. I think he can, Wayne, and hopefully he calls in so he can help.
Boy, I tell you what, well, I thought I'd just bring a little funny here at the end of the week here, instead of everybody being serious. We got to forget about Tennessee, but I went out on the front porch here, and I got a huge cement walkway coming onto my front porch here, and I had my leaf blower in my hand, and I looked, and that snake was on that cement porch. He was standing up in the air like somebody playing a flute. And I said, what in the hell is he doing? He was sunning. And I looked at him. I got my other glasses, and he was black and orange. I said, oh, Lord, that's a Tennessee snake. So I went around there and got me a bamboo pole, and I scooped up under him, throwed him in the woods, and I got about halfway back to the house, and I turned around, and he was behind me again. I told him back in the woods, I said, man, go back to Tennessee. Try again next year. All right, the Blue Ridge game's looking good. Y'all be safe. It's a weekend. Enjoy the game tomorrow. Alabama's going to come out. I'm telling you what, they're going to come out and put Mississippi State. I feel sorry for my athletes. Oh, Lord, we may have to have a little prayer after a while. I love all y'all. Y'all be safe. I'll be back on Monday. Y'all watch them Tennessee Snakes. Stay out there. Bye-bye, everyone.
Appreciate Wagon calling in here. Eli, we might have to get Uncle Charles on to help Wagon with the snakes. You got cockroaches, snakes. I mean, we give you football. We give you National Geographic. We give you Ripley's, believe it or not. We give you a lot of stuff here on In My Own Words. We take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Stephen, Bill from New York. How you doing, brother?
Doing good, man. How you feeling, Bill?
I'm all right. You know, look, got a couple of things to talk about tonight. First of all, when you were talking about Will Anderson, I get it. You know, we don't want a low production game out of him. But, you know, I watch the games, I tape them, and I never come out and call this show with all-knowing proclamations. I'm a fan like anyone else. I watch the games, tape them, watch them again. And I think the problem is in the middle of the defense. Here's what I'm talking about. Like, every play, the whole he's double, triple teamed Anderson. Every play, right? And Dale is either by himself or one man on him. That's what I'm seeing when I watch the replays. I'm not going to pick on Dale anymore. You know why? Because he's really trying his best. He's doing the best he can. He makes a play once in a while. You know what I mean? He's doing the best he can. As far as Otis, love him, but he's a kid. He's a kid. He's still learning. It's not that he's not strong enough, big enough, because he is. He's everything you need at that position, but he's a kid. So, you know, it turns into a problem. Now, the best pass rush plays I see that we get is when Brian Branch is blitzing. You know, he puts a lot of pressure. I think he's one of the best playmakers on the team, Branch. Love that guy. If I was a general manager in the NFL, and I had a late first-round pick, I'd take him. I really would. He's a playmaker, and I think he's one guy that I don't think is getting worse. And the other problem I want to bring up, you know, I can't blame the coaches per se. It's NIL, Stephen. Listen, I don't think it's an accident that we've been beating teams by 1 point or whatever, field goal, lose a game to Tennessee, who we're better than, right? And look at Texas A&M. Coach Saban was right. They bought that team. They bought that freaking team. How are they doing? They ain't doing anything. I don't want to curse. So my thing is, you know, you talk about a team cheering. If I was that age with $50,000 in my pocket, you know what I'd be cheering? The next hot-looking girl I'm running into while I'm guzzling down IPAs and having a good time. The game is different now. And you see, even in the NFL, you know, there's salary caps. You can't sign a contract and then leave and keep your money. You know what I mean? The NCAA is dumb. It didn't have to be about this. You had a Supreme Court rule 9-0. People that couldn't agree on what month they're in. They voted 9-0 against the NCAA to grant this NIL. And I don't begrudge the players having money, but with no system, to me, everybody's going hog wild. You know, you see teams with lesser guys, like less talent than we have, and they're playing harder. They're earning them. I don't know. Like I say, I'm no expert. As far as the game tomorrow, Stephen, this isn't hyperbole either. Even with all I just mentioned, Saban knows what he has to do. Everything the players need is right there. Saban can give it to him because he knows what to do. He's proven it. He's won. I'm looking at 58-3. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. We're going to crush them. We're going to crush them like a bug. We're going to step on them like ants. That's what we're going to do. You know, and I'll be there screaming. So if you hear a loud noise, it's coming from me. All right, 1,000 miles away. I'm ready. And what do you think, Stephen? You think I'm making any sense?
Hey, 58-3, Bill. Hey, I'll put my bet right there with you. 58-3. 58-3, my man. Bill from New York there calling in, giving his thoughts here on the show. His prediction, 58-3, Bama over Mississippi State. They got to come out on fire. They got to come out on fire here for this game. We take this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven. This is Carl from Hartsville. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great. Carl, and yourself?
I'm doing good, man. Hey, first and foremost, really appreciate your channel, man. Love your channel. Love the work you guys do. Justin, everybody's just top notch. But Bill, Bill really kind of stole my thunder. I just to quickly piggyback off what he said. That press conference, I guess, what was it, day before yesterday? Coach Saban was wearing a blue shirt. I think that press conference is going to go down in infamy. And the reason I say that, when you really listen to his words and watch his body language, he, for the first time, personally, this is just my opinion, it may not be worth the hill of beans, that is the first time I've seen him to where he literally does not know what the problem is. He may know a lot of the problems, but this team is missing the fire in the belly. They don't have that spark. Everybody knows they're historically undisciplined, and it's trending in the wrong direction. I mean, here we are halfway in the season. They had, 16 penalties against Texas. Everybody thought, or 15. Everybody said, well, that's just the beginning of the year. They're getting worse with the penalties. It's getting worse. Bottom line is I do think this NIL has dramatically affected these kids' just attitudes, the fire in the belly that they have. Remember the days when Coach Bryant had the Junction Boys out there when he was with Texas A&M? These boys, they used to get put through absolute torture, essentially, to turn these young men into men and make them essentially mean as the snakes. And the reason they were mean as the snakes because one day they wanted to go to the league. Now they're getting paid. So it's just, I think it really is a different dynamic. And I'm not trying to put all of what's going on with the Tide on that issue, but I really do think, to Bill's point, it's a big dynamic here. And that secondary, these are some elite athletes, as we all know. I don't know fully if it's coaching or what it is, but it is to not bracket number 11 on Tennessee the other night after 3 touchdowns is sacrilege. I just cannot believe what I saw, but never thought I would see it from an Alabama football team. So anyway, Steven, sorry for being so long-winded, man. God bless you. Y'all have a good one.
Appreciate Carl calling in right there. I'm going to make this point here, Eni. People can say NIL, but I'm going to say this. Remember, Eni, in the early years of Nick Saban at Alabama, it was always you had a group of players that had the fire in the belly, right? When they would go to the draft, they would pass the baton to the next group of players who had that fire in the belly, and they would police the team. And that baton would get passed to the next group of players. And then it would continue. Somewhere the baton got lost. I'm going to put it like that. Somewhere in the last 5 to 6 years or so, that baton got lost. Because the last team that kind of had that fire in the belly completely would have to be that 2017 team. Somewhere after that 2017 team, the baton got lost. I don't know how it got lost, but that's just my personal opinion. We're going to take this call right here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Man, what's up, man?
What's going on, Uncle Charles? You in here, baby?
Yeah, man. Let me tell y'all something, man. I want to just say, man, how you doing, bro?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
Yeah, man. All we can do is take it day by day and try to live the right way and try, try to keep God in our life and make sure He's first in our life. That's all we can do, bro, because this world is plumb mad. Let me just say this, man. Let me tell you something, man. I don't understand what people don't understand. Nick Saban basically said, just do your job. That's all you got to do. But I can tell y'all this. Remember when the NFL, back in the 70s and 80s, it was always the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Oakland Raiders, the Dallas Cowboys winning Super Bowls. Free agency came, and the bottom rose to the top. Same thing happened to college football. Ain't that something, ladies and gentlemen? Now the college football became the new NFL. Free agency, open market. And it's going to be teams win a national championship, ain't won a national championship in 50 years. Why? Because now we're moving to a 16-game playoff. It's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, more games mean more money. But I can say this about young men. You know, do what you're supposed to do. Even if football don't work out, get your education. And, you know, some people don't want to work McDonald's and some people don't want to, clean buildings and things. But let me tell you something, man. Those people are the cornerstone of this country. You know, somebody got to do it, just like somebody got to run a funeral home, like somebody got to put out fires. Everybody got a part to play in this world, man. And I would just say this, man. Let me just say this. I took y'all through a long time of what I be talking about, but now I'm going to move you into something far different. It's called The Adventures of Uncle Charles. I got two friends. One of them named Sweet Willie and the other one named Hawada. Both of these guys are midgets. And we were sitting in the yard drinking a cold beer and, cooking some meat. And I asked Hawada, I said, when the last time you got in a fight? He said, well, last time I got in a fight was when I was little. I said, you still little? What are you talking about? He said, shut up, Uncle Charles. I said, look, first of all, let's get one thing straight, Hawada. I'm your best friend, but I'm going to tell you the truth. Remember the last time you got up on the house on that ladder, and I told you not to climb up there, and you fell, and couldn't nobody find you? Couldn't nobody find you because you were stuck between the grass and the side of the house? That's what I'm talking about. So nobody cared about what happened a long time ago at Wallow. And the last time I went into the grocery store, hey, he my best friend. He said, hey, Uncle Charles. I said, what's up, Wallow? He said, give me a high five. I said, man, I can't. I said, man, if I've been down there, I ain't going to be able to get back up, bro. I can't do it, man. I got spasms. Man, this is the adventures of Uncle Charles, and you need to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that, hey, nothing's going to change with the Alabama Crimson Tide. We just got to go a different way. And I'm going to say this in closing. Man. I don't know what's going on with the world, man, but people are just not putting peppermint in their mouth. People don't stop bathing, don't stop putting peppermint in their mouth. Man, a guy came in the store the other day, man, and Mad Joker asked me what a tube place is. I said it's right down the road, and man, he hit me with that breath. I said, ooh, 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 if I could. If I could, I'd get out your face because you got Bruce Lee in your throat. And that's all I got to say. Take care of yourself out there. Love your husband, love your wife, love your girlfriend, love your boyfriend. Take care of our babies. And that's all I got to say.
Appreciate Uncle Charles calling in right there, giving us some humor, giving us some facts. We are our everyday life here on a Friday. We take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Yeah, that was vital information for your everyday life.
Robert from Mobile, what's happening, man?
Yeah, it was giving us vital information for our everyday life. That was it's hard to follow that. Hey, I did hear some of you callers, talk about NIL. And I appreciate you bringing up that, hey, this looks like some of this started before NIL got kicked off, where the decline of the Alabama defense, you kind of can trace that back to a certain person getting there. Also during that, after that time, after 2017. And I think it's part of the coaching carousel finally catching up with Nick Saban and Alabama. You can't. I mean, the man has had the most coordinators lost in the last 15 years than anybody by far. I mean, twice as many than anybody else in all of college football. And some of the, it's finally starting to catch up with us. I mean, there's a reason why nobody's been clamoring to get Pete Golden in 5 years, where all the rest of them were, a couple of two to three. But talking about NIL again, I mean, you can have your opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. It's a free country, but it's talking about it's kind of irrelevant. NIL is irrelevant. It doesn't matter, even if it actually is the problem with the teams. They can't lose the focus because of NIL. Well, it's not going anywhere. So if that's the problem, which I don't think it is, then the only thing left for the coaches figure a way around it because it's not going to stop. So it's either figure out a way around it or retire. But I don't think I'm agree with you, Stephen. I don't believe that's the issue. And again, let's all everybody keep in perspective. It's one game. Clemson lost a game in their championship season to a much worse team than Tennessee. They lost Syracuse. Still got the best win the championship, and so did Ohio State to a much worse team. still got it back a year to win out a national championship, and Alabama has done it. Mississippi, Ole Miss wasn't as bad as the teams that beat Clemson and Ohio State, but they didn't finish the season in the top 10 either, and they beat Alabama. But Alabama wrote the ship and got back to the national championship game. I think we can do the same thing here. Let's everybody not lose too much perspective on this being one game. Now they are correct. The problems that led to the defeat were seen early on with the penalties, although we all can agree that, Alabama is responsible for 80% of those penalties are legit. We deserve them. We need to clean it up. But there's a good 20% of those penalties that, that's a little nitpicky, especially in the fourth quarter. You can not easily not throw that flag. If you don't call pass interference on them, why are you calling pass interference on us? As Nick Saban pointed out, hey, can we be even-handed with it? When we intercept the ball, and that would have ended the game. That's pass interference. But when they interfere with our guy going across at crunch time, all of a sudden you don't see anything. Now that's not us. But if you take care of the 80% that is you, Alabama, then the 20% that is referees being nitpicky, it won't matter. But the good thing about it being 80% of the team responsible for their penalty is, okay, you can do something about that. You can clean that up. And I think they'll do it this season. I think we'll get it in gear. I think we can still pull it out. All we got to do is win out. And hopefully we'll meet Tennessee again. And if anybody believes that Tennessee's going to beat us twice like that, I mean, you look at the game. You take away a few plays, a few penalties, especially key moments, and if we make more plays, we can run away with that game. So it's the season's still in front of us. So let's not all throw in the towel yet. There's still a lot of football left to play, and this team can get better. All right, man.
Appreciate Robert from Mobile calling in right there on a Friday and leaving his thoughts on the show. Eli, we got some super chats to get here, so let's go to Tuskman with that $5 donation. Tuskman throwing that there in the bucket. And my guy Tobias Brookins from Fresno with that $100 donation of Ben Franklin that's walked up in here. So that daily super chat goal of $75 has been met. Appreciate all of you, the fans, making this show what it is. Also continue hitting that like button, smashing that like button, raising those likes up, making this your network for all things Crimson Tide football. We're going to get to a quick call topic here, and this one's on Mac Jones, former Alabama quarterback Mac Jones, 2020 national championship starting quarterback. He is expected to start this week will start on Monday Night Football for the Patriots against the Chicago Bears. Mac Jones suffered a high ankle sprain earlier in the season against the Baltimore Ravens. He's missed the last 2 to 3 games for the Patriots. His backup, Bailey Zappi, the former Western Kentucky quarterback, has been out there in place of Mac Jones, but Jones expected to make his return and start on Monday Night Football for the Patriots against the Bears. New England 3-3 on the season. Mac Jones last season got the Patriots back into the playoffs with a 10-7 record. Helped New England to the got the Patriots into the playoffs. He set a few of the franchise rookie records last season. Also, Mac Jones making the NFL Pro Bowl. So looking forward to seeing him on the field here against the Bears on Monday Night Football. But we go to our break right here, folks. Don't touch that dial, because when we get back, we got the man, the myth, the legend, Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for TDA. He's coming on to talk the 2 junkyard dogs for Carver High School that Bama's looking at, Big James Smith and Quay Rusall. We'll talk about it after this.
You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace at weownthefourthquarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your four-finger bling necklace right now at weownthefourthquarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
All right, folks, we're back into the action from the break. Hottest show on the streets, talking Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith here at TDA, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. We got 210 people in the chat line right now, 76 likes on the show. Let's get this thing up to 100 likes. Hit the like button right now. Smash the like button. Make this your show, your network, your space to talk Alabama football. Your family right here. Hit that like button right now. We go now. The In My Own Words hotline. We pick up the man, the myth, the bona fide legend, a guy that literally, when we were doing the Bama Elite podcast for TDA, he's driving down the road to cover two top recruits in one game, that being Quay Russo and James Smith. Carver High School took on Pike Road High School. But the guy I'm referring to is Justin Smith in the building. Justin, what's going on, man?
What's up, Steve? Excited.
Always excited to be able to talk some recruiting with you, Justin. Like I was saying, you were at the Carver High School versus Pike Road High School football game in Montgomery on Thursday. Getting a chance to look at James Smith, nasty physical defensive lineman, Quay Russo, really good linebacker, both from Carver and Montgomery. Alabama high on both of these two. And just to get the conversation started here, when you watch these two play, I mean, in terms of recent Bama players, guys that had that dominant fire in the belly, dog-like mentality, that want the game of football, more than a lot of other things out there. I mean, how do these two kind of remind you of those Bama defensive players in recent years under Coach Saban?
Yeah, I'm not sure we can compare them to any guy in particular. I'm not a big fan of comparisons, but these are both two guys who look the part. Quay Russo, physically gifted. Whenever you see him, you think he should be playing on this Saturday. So, yeah, he definitely looks the part. So does James Smith, and they play the part as well. Like you said earlier, Smith is a dominant defensive lineman. The guy who can consistently get pressure on the quarterback, whether that is turning speed into power, or whether it's him rushing from the edge, or whether it's just him just having a quick jump off the snap of the football. He gets it done in a variety of ways. So I really like what I've seen from James Smith. He has been consistently dominant as a consistent bully in the trenches whenever I see him. Quay Russo, he just gets better every time I see him. Last night was his best game that I ever saw him play in person. He just was all over the field, playing sideline to sideline. Made an elite, super elite play, cutting off the edge from one of the top 2025 running backs, and Anthony Rogers, who holds an Alabama offer. He tried to get to the edge one time, and Quay Russo quickly got up to him with this impressive closing speed, just cutting off the edge. So, yeah, Russo has guys who play all over the field. Both guys are two dominant, nasty defensive linemen. I know the Crimson Tide, especially on defensive front, they want more nasty guys in there, and I think James Smith is one of those guys who constantly plays with a chip on his shoulder. Like I said, he plays bully ball throughout the game, so he is a guy who I feel is a must-need for the Crimson Tide. He's a top priority for them, along with Quay Russo. I think the Crimson Tide are in a good position with them. Of course, they have a top six. They are a package deal. Took an official visit to Florida last week, recently visited Alabama State, plans to visit Auburn again, plans to officially visit Alabama in December. So they will announce a commitment decision most likely on National Signing Day. So this one is most likely going to go all the way down to the wire. I've consistently said it has looked like an Iron Bowl recruiting battle. Still looks as if Auburn and Alabama are in a solid position. Florida seems to have improved their position with the both of them by getting them on campus for that official visit. So things could get interesting, but I think the Tide are in a really, really good position with both.
If you're just tuning into the show here on a Friday, we got Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for TDA, right here on the show discussing the likes of Quay Russaw and Big James Smith, two of the targets here from Carver High School in Montgomery High on the Crimson Tide for the 2023 class. So, Justin, how badly does Alabama need both of these two? Because I remember you and I talked about this. They've got to get mean guys up front. You got to get back mean on the defensive line, on the defensive front, on the defensive line and linebacker. You have to have guys that got that type of mentality in them where I'm going out for the ball, I'm going out for the quarterback, and I'm going after this with reckless abandon. So how badly, in your opinion, do the Tide need both of these guys for this 2023 class?
Yeah, I think they really need both of these guys on really bad because they are elite guys and they are in-state guys. Taking a look at this specifically along the defensive line, we've talked about the fact that the Crimson Tide's current group of defensive linemen are not elite pass rushers. So I think that came to the forefront when the Crimson Tide were defeated by the Tennessee Volunteers last Saturday. So I think they need to get more guys who they can develop into pass rusher along that defensive front. So if they are in a position where we have a dominant edge rusher like Will Anderson, those guys can win their one-on-one battles. So I think landing guys like James Smith will be very important. And also the Crimson Tide haven't done a good job up to now recruiting in-state defensive linemen because Kelby Collins and Peter Woods are verbally committed to other programs right now. Of course, they're still recruiting. Those guys' things could change. They still want them on campus. If they get an opportunity to flip them, they'll definitely be open to it. But if they was to miss out on James Smith, Peter Woods, and Kelby Collins, when you really need defensive linemen, that would definitely not be a good look for them when the state is producing elite defensive linemen. So I think James Smith, if they can land them, that will be a huge addition to the 2023 recruiting class, getting guys who have shown the ability early in their development in their high school career to be great pass rushers. So I think these are two guys they really, really need to land here in this 2023 recruiting class.
Justin, before we get into the last question here, just a mere thought. How much has Mac Wilson, who played at Carver High School, who played at the University of Alabama, now in the NFL with the Patriots, how much has Mac Wilson weighed in on trying to help recruit both of these two guys to the Crimson Tide, in your opinion?
Yeah, he's definitely been involved. They both of them trained under the same trainer that he trained under. Sean Dion Hamilton trained under as well when they were in Montgomery. That is the training, Madhouse training in Montgomery, Alabama. They definitely have played a huge role to both guys' development. So yeah, I think Mac Wilson, in my opinion, has played somewhat of a role for sure. He was on campus when they got to take an official visit to Alabama on 8 days. So I think he has been at least involved at this point in time.
Has been involved there, one Mac Wilson. But final thought here, Justin, we got this week, homecoming, Bama, Mississippi State here on Saturday at Bryant-Denny. What looks like the lineup of targets or the different athletes here, recruits, that will be in Bryant-Denny, taking in this atmosphere, taking in this game between Alabama and the Bulldogs?
Well, of course, James Smith and Quay Russaw are at the top of that list. They will be back in Tuscaloosa on this weekend. You have two top defensive linemen as the Crimson Tide want to continue prioritizing recruiting defensive line here moving forward. Two guys in Jordan Hall and David Hobbs, who will be in Tuscaloosa on Saturday as well. So the Crimson Tide will have three top 2023 defensive linemen in Tuscaloosa who they are recruiting really hard. Two of those guys will take official visits. You have one of the top 2024 quarterbacks in the nation in Julian Sayin returning back to Tuscaloosa on this weekend as well, along with some Alabama commits like Tony Mitchell, Jalen Hale, Ty Lockwood. So the Crimson Tide will have some commits on campus as well. I expect guys like Wilkin Formby, Raquez McElderry to be involved there as well because they've been in Tuscaloosa every week this season. So the Crimson Tide will have an impressive list of recruits visiting this weekend.
He is Justin Smith, ladies and gentlemen, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for TDA, coming on here talking about what he saw in Thursday's matchup when you look at Carver High School versus Pike Road High School, and breaking down James Smith and Quay Russaw, two of the top targets here, in-state guys Alabama looking at getting both, needing to get both to improve this defensive front moving forward in the future for this 2023 recruiting class. Justin, as always, man, we appreciate you. Take care of yourself, man. Be good out there.
You do the same, too.
Absolutely. Justin here joining us, talking about Crimson Tide recruiting for this 2023 class. We're going to go to another break here, folks. When we get back, we return to your phone calls. Light the phone lines up. We're getting your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. Let us hear you right after this.
Don't touch that dial. Call in right now as we're taking your calls up next on In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith. Brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Visit WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com now to get your four-finger bling necklace. Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to WhitwellSports.com and get your Title Towel today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month or pay $74.95 for a full-year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
Back into the action here, baby, from the break on a Friday TGIF edition of the show, talking Bama football in my own words. Yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Continue to hit that like button, hit the like button. Give us that thumbs up right here on the show, making this your show, your network, platform, channel, space to talk about, discuss, get into the Bama football conversation. We right now go to the phone lines to take your calls. The call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. Number to call in right there, 205-448-1358. We grab this call right here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
What's going on, Steve? Elijah from Jersey. How you feeling tonight, my man?
Doing good, Elijah. Doing good. I got homecoming tomorrow between Alabama and Mississippi State. I mean, I just want these guys to come out with some fire on them, man. Just come out ready to play.
Yeah, I feel you. I think a lot of the fans, feel the same way you do. And, I hear a lot of callers, and there's a lot of chit-chat about this NIL stuff. And, it's something new to the game. Something just got implemented. And I feel like a lot of people, that's the easiest thing for people to put it on. Take, for example, in my opinion, you got a guy like Bryce Young. He has huge NIL deals. You're talking about Beats. You're talking about Dr. Pepper. And it hasn't affected his play whatsoever. You know what I mean? He's still come out there. He balling just like he did last year. Balling even harder. He could sit back and coast. He knows, I'm a first-round pick, no matter how you look at it. And Bryce Young is going to be a first-round pick. Could he coast? Could he just save himself this season if he had that type of mentality? Of course he could. He already has $800,000 to $1 million worth of NIL deals. This kid can coast, but it's kind of like Saban says, this dude is a competitor. It's not about the money. This kid plays to the Alabama standard. He has a warrior type of mentality, he does. So I don't think NIL is the problem. It's these kids that are maybe letting this money maybe change him. Because for all these years, this has been a big conversation, right? All these kids looking at, and even us as fans, these kids are getting the schools are making millions and millions of dollars off these kids. If they sell their own jersey and get money from it, they're in trouble. For years, people have been, coming to these kids' defense about, hey, let these kids make some type of money because you're making all this money off of them. And now when they have that right to make some type of money, People are using it as the curse. Oh, this is why these kids ain't playing bad. Well, maybe it's some of these kids' mentalities because Bryce Young has probably $1 million of NIL deals, and he's still balling like they didn't give him a dime. And I just say that speaks to the character of this young man, that it's not about the money. He's going to play up to his highest standard because he takes pride in the way he plays. About Will Anderson, I said it from the beginning of the season. Will Anderson's numbers are not going to be the same, Steve, as they was last year. It's not because he's not a great player. Will Anderson came onto the scene, and nobody really knew, a whole bunch about this man before. He shocked the world last year. He put up unprecedented numbers, he did. This year, offensive coordinators, every team that has played or will play us in the future, they are going to know where number 31 is. And they're going to say, even if we have to triple team him, if we have to put a tight end, an offensive tackle, and chip him with a running back, that's what we have to do to keep him off of our quarterback and out of our backfield. That wasn't nothing hard to figure out. These guys are getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to keep a guy like Will Anderson off of a quarterback. These offensive coordinators are getting paid that type of money. That's their main job. You think they're going to let him beat them like a steel drum? My problem is, since Will is getting all the attention, everybody else needs to step up as far as on that defensive line and win their matchups. Dallas Turner got to be more of a wrecking force. It would be, going down the line with the defensive tackles. Everybody else has to win their matchups, their one-on-one matchups. And because if you could do that, now offensive coordinators will sit back and say, yo, listen, well, we can't pay this man all this attention because this whole front is wrecking shop. We can't double. All y'all just got to man up and be able to handle them. So Will's numbers will start to get better once everybody else is doing their job and all that focus comes off of him. And, Steve, I just think my last point is I think we've all, people that really know the game of football, we've all seen the Alabama's defense lagging over the last couple of years. This isn't something new. Yes, sometimes we forget about the mistakes that, the team makes when we win the game because at the end result is winning the game. But now when they lose, all that time that we've been seeing them mistakes, it caught up to us, and now people want to bring that stuff to the forefront. We've been seeing for the last couple of years, this defense could be ran on, could be passed on, and now, it's not a big deal until it exposes its ugly head with the L. When we take that loss, now everybody wants to sit there and say, I knew it, but people have been saying this all along, and it's a shame that it takes a loss for everybody to really start to see, man, this defense has a lot of weaknesses, and it isn't up to the Alabama standard. I don't think people are going overboard now. I just think now, since we took that L, it's more clear, it's more evident that, hey, this defense has a lot to work on. Everybody's kind of figured this was going to be the strong point of the team this year, and it hasn't worked out like that. But like I said, can things be fixed? Yeah. But, Steve, you know how hard it is with pride and courage. It's either you got it or you don't. That's not something you teach. You don't teach pride. It's either you got pride in what you do, just like your show. You come on the show, you give 110%. Nobody got to push you. The callers don't have to push you. You bring the energy because that's you. This defense, if guys don't have that pride, that determination, like we are Alabama, you don't do this to us, then it's time to get them out because those guys, you don't coach pride. You know what I mean? You come to the table with it. And, that's all I got to say, Steve. Let me know how you feel about the comments.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, Elijah, I agree with that. And this is the reason why I said this, I said this. To me, it's not NIL. It's not that. To me, it's somewhere the baton got lost. Because if you remember, in the early years of Nick Saban, for example, you look at when you had defensive linemen like Terrence Cody, Marcel Darius, Brandon Dederick, guys like Rolando McClain, those guys. When those guys left, they had the baton to the next wave. And that next wave was guys like Dante Hightower, C.J. Mosley, Nico Johnson, Nick Gentry, Damian Square. They got it. We ready. We want this baton. And then when they left, they got the baton to the next wave. The next wave was like, Reuben Foster, Reggie Ragland, Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, those guys. And then the baton got to the next wave. Quentin Williams. After Quentin Williams' group, somewhere after that group, the baton got lost because you're seeing individual players, yes, but you're not seeing a whole team just attack and play with that mentality. 2009, the whole team played with the mentality. 2011, 2012, 2015, 2017, it was a mentality felt by the whole team because that baton was passed from one group to the next group. After 2017, I don't know if that baton was passed. I don't think it was. Who are the guys ready to accept that baton? But we take this call right here. You're live on the show. What's going on? You're live on the show. Call. State your name, where you calling from.
What's going on, Steven? This is Tobias, man, from Fresno. How you doing?
Doing great, man, and yourself?
Man, I'm doing real good. Just excited about tomorrow. And I appreciate all the calls, man. I wasn't able to get on Wednesday on work day, but I'm excited about this weekend and see how the team responds. I'm going to reiterate, I really liked the show the other day, Steve, when you had some of those OGs on and they were venting and all of that. But like I said then, we talk about legacy of things, alumni and stuff like that. Then, you closest to the system. And so sometimes kids gotta be brought into their history to get them on point if we feel like their mentality ain't right. But I did a quick little look on Google, and I know you know all of this already. I had to go back to look just to make sure I was thinking the right way. But in 2007, when Saban got there, it's 7-6, man. 2008, 12-2. 9, of course, undefeated. 2010, 10-3. 2011, 12-1. 2012, 13-1. 2013, 11-2. 2014, 12-2. 15, 14-1. 16, 14-1. 17, 13-1. 18, 14-1. 11-2, 2019. Of course, undefeated in 2020. 2021, 13-2. So I'm just trying to figure out what all the roof is on fire stuff is about. I mean, I get it, I guess. This defense this year, these kids last 2 years. I guess every year we've been saying that because I've been watching a long time, man, and every year, anytime Alabama lose, everybody say, man, this defense ain't, man, this offense ain't, this. It's like I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone every year. And even with some of the defenses that some of the callers and yourself and others have rattled off as being, great, a couple of them did not win the Natty. Am I right or wrong? Am I seeing it wrong?
I mean, the 2016 defense, Tobias, for Nick Saban, one of the most creative, fun-loving, exciting groups out there. But yes, no national championship for that 16 defense.
So that's what I'm saying. So what is the end goal of the fan, I guess, is my point.
I think, okay,
Offenses
so.
changes, defense, like, what's the, I get that listen, that 2016 season was probably the funnest football from Alabama I've seen in terms of defense. Because it was just like, they interceptions, fumbles. It was like crazy that year. But at the end of it, 1 second was left on that clock. And the Natty wasn't won. And by the way, I'm old school, so I'm a bowl guy. With a time where Natties mattered, but if you went to bowls and had a good season, it was still a good season. So I know everyone's like, the Bama standard, I got you, but come on. Give these kids a chance to bounce back. Like, let's see what they made of when they bounce back. So I don't know. I guess I'm not on the train of, like, just outright dogging, dragging through the mud kids when they had a loss. Did you see the head coach on Thursday, Steve?
I did. I saw it. I did.
Yeah. Okay, so Nick Saban, anyone who hasn't seen it, go back and watch it. Nick Saban outlined what they do for preparation from Sunday all the way through the week. So when I hear fans calling, like after the loss, acting like you think y'all want to win more than the players? I mean, that's like, as an ex-player, that's like deep. Like, you think you sitting up on the couch, you actually want to win more than the people that's putting in the blood, sweat, and tears? Yes, there's mistakes. And guess what? This is something else. This is a novel idea. I don't mean to be kind of like, sarcastic or nothing, but there are other scholarship players that don't go to Alabama. They go to other teams, and they good, and they want to win. And, like, I don't know any, like, even when we say, Steve, okay, last 2 years, last 3 years, those are all different teams. We almost talk about it sometimes, Steve, like it's the same team that's losing their intensity. It's not. It's a whole new team. This year's team is a whole new team from last year's team. Even when you lose just 5 people, it becomes a new team. So anyway, I just wanted, please go back and listen to that, those of you who haven't. It sounds like we got a game plan coming in. I'm hoping we can get past this Mississippi State so we can get a week off and try to heal up, try to get some things together. I'm excited about Harold potentially taking the field. Thank you guys so much, TBA, for your commentary and keeping us up on everything that's happening, man. I'm excited to see what this kid can do. More importantly, to see if the timing with him and Bryce is there. And once again, I want to repeat this too. Okay, should we have been running the ball at the end of that last game? Probably. But, hindsight is 20/20. When you have the Heisman champion, the reigning Heisman champion on your team, I can understand why we chose to put the ball in his hand. And so I'm not going to go back and forth with nobody in the chat about it. It's all good. We just have an opinion. However, I would say this, that if Alabama would simply cut down the mistakes. I went back and looked at the game 3 times, Steve. I looked at the shortened version and I looked at the longer version 2 full times. Call me crazy. And what I saw was those penalties were happening to stop drives, happening to change momentum. If Alabama can stop the penalties, just do that. And then on defense, like the secondary, I know they've come under fire. It was, pretty inexcusable. Like, the young man has 6 targets at him and he scored 4, 5 times or whatever it was. He's just running free down the field. That's not okay. However, I do believe that when you look at the emotional win at Texas A&M, coming off of that, coming into this, maybe the kids' heads wasn't in the right place. But let's give them a chance to get it right this week, Steve. I guess I'm just telling all Alabama fans, send some good thoughts, good chats, good tweets, and all of that. Don't be the fan base that when something go wrong, you on Twitter destroying the very kids that you looking to get entertainment from the next week. Because I do believe that there's a little bit less mental strength. Our kids have a lot more to deal with than we had to deal with back in the day. And it's probably getting in their head. But they have to manage, this Alabama team has to manage the same circumstances of every other team. So it is an even playing field. Care about no NIL, transfer portal. Everybody is dealing with the same circumstances. Now the playing field, the parity is kind of evening out. So that's where coaching has to rise. And that's where players have to bounce back and show us who they're made of. Steve, we will find out who they are tomorrow and in the upcoming weeks. I hope they can run the table and get to that natty. But whether they do or not, it should still always be for all fans, Roll Tide. Thanks, bro.
Appreciate Tobias calling in right there. So, I'm going to say this. This is one thing that I'm very grateful for. I can see things from different sides of the coin. I don't know how I can do it sometimes, but I can see things from two different sides of the coin. So I understand the Alabama fans from a sense of those who came in the 2000 to 2007, prior to Nick Saban, where you had DuBose, Franchione, Mike Price for a sip of tea, and then Mike Schumer, right? And how difficult that was. Because that was when I came in. How difficult that was, where you had a 6-year losing streak to Auburn. You couldn't beat Tennessee with Casey Clausen and Rick Clausen and Philip Fulmer. You couldn't stand that. It was murderous row. And then you were under sanctions, you were under probations, you were under scandal. It did not look good. You were gone away from the glory days of the Bear Bryant and the Gene Stallings, and you were wondering, can we ever get that back? That's the fan base, 2000 to 2007. Now you look at Nick Saban here from 2008 to present. Now it's, the fans have come. In that regime, it's, well, we just want championships. We're just saying championships. Saban came in, instantly started winning championship after championship after championship. So that group of fans feel like if it ain't a championship, we ain't doing nothing because I'm used to championships. Versus the 2000 to 2007 fans saying, hold on here. I remember when we was 3-8. I remember when we was 4-9. I remember when we couldn't rub two nickels together to make a win. And now we sitting here winning. What y'all complaining for? So I can see it from both ends. Both sides want to see a great product on the field every single week, bar none, period. You guessed it. But there's half of the fan base going, hey, let's continue to just enjoy this ride because at some point Coach Saban is going to exit stage left. We don't know when that's going to be, but at some point he's going to exit stage left. Let's just enjoy this. The other side's going, nah, man, Bama stand at championship. We want championships. If we ain't getting no championship, we ain't winning nothing. We doing beneath what we supposed to do. And it's like a whole internal fight here going on. But just seeing things from both sides of the coin. We're taking this call here, though. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Lewis, I'm calling from Florida.
What's going on, man?
Oh, good, man. I'm very excited about the game this week. I think we'll do better this week. We was robbed last week, but even though we made the mistakes, like I said, when I was on Kansas Southern Night. But I just think we'll do better. I think we'll have a different energy level this week compared to next week. Because I know Nick's probably been in their head all week, and, I believe the practice is better. I just think that we're going to be, a whole better performance tomorrow. Because I think if we win out, we can get back to it.
Oh, absolutely.
Hello?
Absolutely. Alabama wins out. You look at SEC championship, whether you face Georgia, whether you face Tennessee again, college football. I mean, all the dreams are still right there for Alabama football.
It is. And Georgia's not Georgia's not much better than us. They may have a better defense. Their offense is struggling. So I feel we're right there, and we know if we play better defense against Tennessee, we can beat them. So they shouldn't be doing too much bragging, but they are doing a lot of bragging. It's like a Super Bowl to them beating us. But we go for the championship. We don't base it on one win. And all the Tennessee fans, their heads is go high now, man. You wouldn't believe it. But like I say, that second meeting with them, it's gonna be a whole different story.
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see when that comes around again. Appreciate that call right there. Coming into the show, we grab this call. Here you're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
What's up, my man? Steven, your buddy Noah. How you, man?
Doing good, Noah, and yourself.
Hey, Steven, I got 3 questions for you, brother. You ready?
Go ahead.
I hope we beat Mississippi State, and I predict us 49, Mississippi State University 17.
Okay.
And here's my other question. Remember that thing I tell you about stuffed animal? I got a stuffed animal as an elephant.
Nice. Okay. Got a little big eye.
Love him. I hope I get down there and I'll help y'all win.
Absolutely. Appreciate Noah calling in right there. He's got a score prediction, Bama 49, Mississippi State 16 there. So 49-16, Noah's got the tide over the Bulldogs there. We grab this call. Here you're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Roll Tide, my friend. What's happening?
Doing great, William. You know, tomorrow's homecoming. You got Bama, Mississippi State. Bama trying to turn the page, though. Media just still bringing up the Tennessee game while Nick Saban saying, Mississippi State is Saturday. Why are we still talking about Tennessee?
Exactly, man. I mean, I'll say a little bit on it, and then I'll leave it alone. But, everybody acts like that according to some of these Tennessee fans, these Georgia fans, oh, man, it was a blowout. It was no blowout. It was a win by 3. Okay.
It was a win by a field goal, and I know our producer Eli Walker was at the game, so he can attest to this. I'm watching the game from TV, Will, and it looked like I thought the field goal had got blocked. I thought it was going to be short.
Yes, yeah. Anyway, our defense did their job. They didn't do too. We should have blown them. Yes, I'll give you that. But it was no blowout. Our defense done good. They can do better. Now Waylon had anxiety with that snake. I could see that. That was anxiety.
Yeah. That was real. That was real.
But facing an opponent on a football team, as big as he is, as big as Will Anderson is, man, I wouldn't be scared. I'd be going hard and fast like I've always done. He didn't have no anxiety in the other games that I've seen. I mean, we're all anxious. I mean, I'm anxious to whether I'm going to get hit crossing the road out here. If I don't look for a car or something, I'm going to get hit. That's
True.
Anxiety. But you know what I mean? Our team's going to get better. We're going to get through this, and we're going to win the rest. I believe we're going to win out. And that's all I got to say. And we're going to face Mississippi State. I feel sorry for them because we're going to come with fire and vengeance. I mean, that's why I say I hate it for Mississippi State. Roll Tide.
Appreciate William from Iowa calling into the show. All of this is look, all of this is the main prognosticators of college football. It's about making money for them. So how do they make money? You target the best team, the most recognizable team in college football, and you talk up the idea of other teams beating that team. I mean, why do you think a lot of the NFL prognosticators make their money? They go after Bill Belichick and the Patriots because the Patriots have been dominant for so long. That's the team they go after. You look at the baseball prognosticators, how they make money. You talk down on the Yankees because the Yankees have such that dominant history. You look at the NBA prognosticators. What do they did? They talked down on the Celtics when they were good. They talked down on the Lakers when they were good. They talked down on the Golden State Warriors now when the Miami Heat had their little run going with LeBron James. They were talking down the Miami Heat. I mean, when teams get hot, when you see dominance, people want to see the horse knocked off the dominance. What do? They have conversations to make money about how can this team be knocked off the horse. That's what this is. That's what this is. But Coach Saban continuing to hold on to the horse. Got to right the ship this week, face Mississippi State. But Alabama continues to hold itself onto the horse. But we take this call. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
This is Higgins from Mississippi.
How we doing, man?
And I'm doing good. I'm doing good tonight. And I was just thinking about that game. Bad as that we played, but we only lost by 3, by a field goal.
You're right. Only lost by 3.
Time. Yeah, man. What gets me, Stephen? Everybody talking about Bama got beat. All over the news, Bama got beat. By a field goal, Bama been beating that team 15 years straight. Sooner or later, they're going to get them. Sooner or later. We can't keep beating the same team every year. Sooner or later, they're going to pop up and get us. So this time, they just popped up and got us.
I mean, absolutely. That's what makes it the rivalry, right? I mean, prior to the loss to Georgia in the national championship, Coach Saban was like 5-0, 6-0, something like that against Kirby Smart. 5-0, 6-0, like something like that against Georgia. And that game, unfortunately, you have Jamison Williams get hurt, unfortunately, but at some point, Kirby Smart was going to win one.
That's right. He was going to win one sooner or later. He was going to get one. See, another thing I'm going to ask you, is Eli Red going to play this week?
I really hope so. I mean, I know Monday Saban was saying personnel changes. Would really like to see Eli Ricks out there. I've been hearing some great stuff about wide receiver Tyler Harrell all week. Want to see him out there, but definitely want to see Ricks out there.
Oh, that would be good. I sure hope so. But one more thing, I'm going to let you go.
Go ahead.
I do believe that we can run the table. They just got to tighten up a little bit, but I do believe we can run the table. I do believe in my heart we're going to meet Tennessee again.
Appreciate Higgins right there calling in from Mississippi with his thoughts there on Alabama. I mean, it's a good chance Alabama can see Tennessee again in the SEC championship game. It's a good chance Bama can see Tennessee. And I think it can run the table also. Just some small things to clean up. You clean up the penalties. You clean up some small mental errors defensively. You clean up some of the false starts and the delay of games offensively. You clean some small things. A lot of what Alabama does is correctable. It's how badly do you want to correct it? It is correctable. But it's how much do you want to get this thing right on the field? And knowing Nick Saban, he wants to get this thing right. But we take this call. You're live on the field. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, what's going on, Steven? It's Demetrius from North Carolina. Roll Tide.
Doing great, man. How you feeling?
Well, I feel a lot better. I done finally quit being pessimistic, and I'm finally optimistic about this next game coming up. I was talking to my cousin. He played D1 ball at Carolina here about 6-7 years ago. He was pointing out some things. But, hey, it's time to move on to Mississippi State. We lost. It is what it is. And, I hope these young men can turn it around. Areas that, it just, as a fan, I've been a fan since 92. It frustrates me to see you get a number 1 recruiting class every year and you see the undisciplined, crazy penalties, and you see, this is games, we middle of the season, you having game 1 problems. But these young men gonna get it turned around. I mean, I have trust in Nick Saban that he gonna right the ship. Sometimes somebody always got your number. I remember growing up getting in a fight with somebody, I just never could beat them. I mean, or one instance, well, hey, they got the best of me that time. I could beat them again. We had a rematch, but it is what it is. And, this week against Mississippi State, I believe they're going to play better. I mean, this has got their attention. I mean, we've seen this before after a loss, and like everybody, I mean, a lot of people keep saying just clean up the mistakes. That's it. I mean, this is we're getting to crunch time. We don't need all these false starts and offsides or whether it's penalties on the defensive side. And so I see some players have stepped up, like Cam Latu. He balled out against Tennessee. And we can just clean up the drop passes, just clean up some stuff. And I believe we're going to right the ship and roll tide.
Absolutely. Appreciate Demetrius calling in right there. And he made a good point there. Sometimes a team is just going to have your number. Case in point with me here, I like playing thumb war from time to time with my daughter, Mariah. Shouts out to my daughter right there, one of the coolest 7-year-olds out there. So being dad, playing thumb war with my daughter, she got me yesterday. Mariah got me yesterday. She went to snake eye form playing thumb war. I'm trying to get her thumb. She got mine. I mean, it happened. It happened. She got me. So she got my number that time. I was able to get her back, though. But just a cool little example right there. Sometimes a team is going to have your number. Alabama, this week, got a chance to put it on Mississippi State for homecoming. But we take this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven, it's Trent from Prattville, Alabama. How you doing tonight?
Doing great, Trent, and yourself?
Oh, it's been a hard week, brother. It's been a hard week. Very, very disappointed, but we could have won the ball game. I mean, as we could have, but we didn't. We have to move on and play Mississippi State, and I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to this matchup also, Trent. I mean, it wasn't the way that you want to have it happen against Tennessee. I mean, clearly, Vols raced out there to a 21-7 lead. I mean, Alabama fought back valiantly. I mean, Bryce Young took unnecessary hits in the game, but still made play after play, trying to put the team its hardest in the best position to win. It was tough. I mean, it was tough. It was not the finish that you wanted. I mean, it was not the finish that anybody that's a consumer of Alabama football wanted. But the main thing is the SEC West is still there for Bama to take. You can still get to the title game in Atlanta. College football playoff aspirations still there. It's handle business this week.
That's right. I was going to say, is there any way we can get the whole 2016 defense to come in there and hype up the team before big games? That would be awesome, because that defense needs some intensity.
Trent, I wouldn't mind that. I mean, I would not mind calling all of those guys. I know half those dudes are in the league still, but I'm pretty sure if somebody could get Reuben Foster, Tony Brown, Tony, Reuben, get all of them guys. At least get 5 of them. At least get 5 of them guys. Put them in the locker room. Yeah.
And amp those boys up. Get them ready, because our defense needs to be mean. And I mean mean. And we're just not now. We're not. And it makes me sick, But anyway, roll tide, brother. Thank you for taking my call.
Absolutely. Appreciate Trent from Prattville calling in. I mean, Eli, would that be hard, though, to get like 5 guys from the 2016 team? I know Ruben's not on the NFL team yet. I mean, you can get Tony Brown. You could probably get Hootie Jones. You might can get Ronnie Harrison, maybe not. Cyrus, you can call Cyrus Jones. I know he's in real estate now, but you probably can get Cyrus Jones. It's about 5 guys you can get off that defense. Put a pin in that. That's something to think about. We'll take this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Steven, what's up, man? How you been? This is Sean from Huntsville. How you been, brother?
What's going on, brother? Man, it's been a long time, man. Long time.
Yeah, man. I wanted to call real quick, man. I had a moment real quick, man. I wanted to give you a call. I hadn't had a chance to give you a call, but I wanted to call real fast, man. And you know, I got to spice it up as usual, brother. I respect everybody's call, but I want to ask a question to the fans, man. What happened to us, man? What happened to us? Sure, we lost to Tennessee, this, that, and the third, anxiety. I know all the headlines, right? But let me explain something. Game day don't even like coming to Alabama no more. One reason why. You know what I mean? The starting lineups are being called. You know what they do? They clap. You know what I'm saying? What happened to us as fans? BDS, Bryant Denny Stadium in 2016 was probably the first or second loudest stadium, most raucous stadium in the SEC. Now, man, to be completely honest, we're not even top 5 or top 6, man. If you think BDS is loud, go to Tennessee, go to Florida, go to Texas A&M, go to Georgia, go to LSU. It's a fact. That's a whole fact. We as fans have become spoiled. We become wine and cheesers. We have become Ole Miss of 2013 and 12. We don't cheer for real. We show up at games. We tailgate. We go in. We clap. We complain. We this. We're not raucous. It's not. I had 2 recruits that I know of personally at the VTO camp in Atlanta tell me what happened in Alabama. It wasn't loud. Like, they go to these recruiting trips. We don't show up. Like, we get loud in moments. We get loud in herring moments, like the Texas A&M game. But most times they have to play music and hype it up and fake crowd noise with the beat Auburn. You know, what happened to us? Before we check the team, which we all deserve to check the team, we hate losing to Tennessee. We hate the anxiety line. We get it, right? But let's do our part as fans, man. Get back in there. Game day show up is not really a lot of people there. You go to these other stadiums, there's 20,000 people on the quad for game day. What happened to Alabama fans? We have become spoiled, man. Spank ourselves for that. You know what I mean? I understand it's high to get in these games. I get it. But let's do better ourselves. Let's get behind that team and let's tear our heads off and stop being spoiled brats. That's what we need to do as fans, man. You understand? I wanted to call real quick and just say that. Let's make BDS a hostile environment like it used to be in 2016. Much love to you, Steven. I'll be supporting as always, my brother. Continue grinding.
Absolutely. Appreciate Sean from Huntsville with, I think, probably the point of the day. The point of the day. And I go back, Eli, to last year when Pat Dowd and I of TDA, we went down to Florida, to Gainesville. That place was insane. Like, I couldn't hear. For 30 minutes, I couldn't hear like, my ears were gone. I couldn't hear in Gainesville. That's how intense that crowd was. I remember last year at Kyle Field for A&M, how intense that crowd was. I was at Jordan-Hare for the Iron Bowl last year. Auburn fans literally shook the stadium. Like, they shook it. And Auburn almost won that game. You look at this season. Hey, Texas. You're not how loud that place was in Texas? At Texas Stadium, they lost their mind. And that was crazy. Arkansas, like, these venues, they lose it. Like, they don't care. Bama coming to our house, we gonna let Bama feel us. When opposing teams coming to Bryant Denny, the fans gotta make the opposing teams feel the tide. I agree with Sean from Huntsville, absolutely. I remember when Pete Carroll told the folks at USC, no one comes to the Coliseum and beats us. This is our place to live forever. We live forever right here. We loud, crazy. It's our place to live forever. Pete Carroll told them folks that at USC. So when it comes down to Bryant Denny, the players feed off of the energy of the fans. Even when it comes down to the road travel, the players feed off the energy there of the fans. So Sean from Huntsville, good point there. Very strong point. I appreciate all the calls coming in here tonight. Got me hyped up right now. I ain't even on the field. Golly. They want to grab my helmet from back in high school. But somebody else has got that helmet, unfortunately. But we're going to go to this call topic right here on Bama head coach Nick Saban. I think the loss to Tennessee, Eli, I think that loss has refocused even Coach Saban. Because he mentioned on Hey Coach that Tennessee, there was one play where they lined up in I formation and the players had no idea what was going on, which I'm wondering why was a timeout not called on that play. But once again, we're in a new era of football. These guys don't know what the I formation is. This is a spread offense, spread look type of generation now. But I think that loss has refocused Saban on making sure no stone is left unturned. I understand he's a CEO. He can't, I guess, be all hands on as he wants to be. He still can be if he chooses to. But I think this loss has even woken him up, because he said Monday, from top to bottom, coaches have to do better, staffers have to do better, I have to do better, and getting these guys prepared each and every week to play a football game, because the competition has closed the gap in all phases. Like, everybody's good now. Everybody's good, and Alabama's going to get everybody's best shot. They got Texas's best shot. They got A&M's best shot. They got Tennessee's best shot, though it came in a loss. They got Arkansas's best shot. And Mike Leach is coming up in here saying, you finna get our best shot too. So for Alabama, got to refocus itself in trying to right this ship. I think this loss has even recentered Coach Saban. But we're going to go to our final break here. Don't touch that dial. When we come back, we're going to talk Will Anderson. He's got to turn it up. Last year against Mississippi State, he turned it up, and that started his run to the Heisman Trophy. Can he do it again? We'll talk Anderson to wrap things up after this.
If you're an avid Alabama Crimson Tide fan and you love to flaunt it, then show your Alabama Crimson Tide support by grabbing the All-Bama sneakers. They feature bold Crimson Tide graphics, so no one will be able to question where your allegiance lies. When you add these sweet sneakers to your Alabama Crimson Tide collection, go to stsfootwear.com and use the code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. That's code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. Go to stsfootwear.com and get your All-Bama sneakers today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, folks, we're back into the action from the break on the hottest show on the streets. Got that fire talking your Crimson Tide. Football news in my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith of TDA. Got the man Enoch Walker in the production studio. Over 100 likes on the show. Appreciate you guys making this your network, your platform, channel, space to talk Bama football. And before we get into final topic of conversation, I remind you of TDAwear.com. That's TDAwear.com. So for all of your swagger, sauce, drip, clothing, cultural, fashion needs there, check us out, TDAwear.com, TDAwear.com, the link in the description. Get you that gear right now. Weather's changing. Fall is in. Gonna get a little bit chillier, colder. Got your pants, your leggings, sweaters, hoodies, long sleeve shirts. Hey! We got your gear. Get you set for the cold weather, repping your Crimson Tide and the brand, covering your Crimson Tide. Us here at TDA. TDAwear.com. Link in the description. Continue showing that support for Coach Saban the University of Alabama, the student athletes, and us here at Touchdown Alabama Magazine. But now we get to the man of the hour, Mr. Will Anderson, the Terminator, if you will. Big game for him. Time for him to crank it up. Time for Will Anderson to crank that thing up. Turn it all the way up. Because if Alabama's going to want to run the table here, especially defensively, they're going to need the Terminator to be all on 1,000. And if you look at Anderson's career at this point, he tends to turn it up in the latter part of the season. You go back to his freshman year where he exploded onto the scene in 2020. He didn't have his first sack, Eli, to the Auburn game late in the year. And then he turned it up. And he finished the year with 7, 8 sacks? Made the freshman All-America team. Sean Alexander, National Freshman Player of the Year from the Football Writers Association. Yeah, Will didn't turn it on until late that freshman season. And then 2020, or 2021 last year, remember, it was the Mississippi State game where Will went off. I think he had 4.5 sacks. Will Rogers had to limp off the field and then come back on the field because 31 kept tearing him up. So here we go again against Mississippi State. Will this be part 2 or part 3 of Anderson saying, okay, middle to latter part of the year, now it's time for me to really hit the second gear here? Because Alabama's going to need him to hit this second gear. I understand at times he can be double teamed or triple teamed or whatever, or have you, but the best ones still make their presence felt in big games. Will Anderson models himself after Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald gets double teamed in the NFL. Aaron Donald get double teamed when the Rams play against an opposing offense. But Aaron Donald still show up in big games. I go back to the Super Bowl against the Cincinnati Bengals. Who got the final play on Joe Burrow? It was Aaron Donald. And then he pointed to his ring finger saying, finally, give me my Super Bowl. Right? That's why Aaron Donald get paid the big money he get. Because in the biggest games, in the brightest lights, the most massive stages, 99, Aaron Donald show up, and he shows out. Will Anderson, you got to show up here against Mississippi State and down the stretch of the season because these are all big games. State, big. MSU, big. Ole Miss, big. Auburn, despite the struggles that's going on, big. When you're trying to run the table, win a conference title, and get back to the college football playoff. Will Anderson, time to turn it up, crank it out, show up in these big, massive performances. Because if he's trying to be the number 1 overall pick next year's draft, what do NFL scouts look for in the number 1 overall pick? Do you show up when it matters? Are you on the stat sheet? Are you jumping off the page when it matters? Because if you jump off the page when it matters, that's how we know we can use you. So, it matters here as we head down the stretch. Anderson cannot afford to disappear in these games where it matters. Especially following this Tennessee game where he didn't show up consistently when it mattered there. So, got to be big here if you're Will Anderson. But as always, Bama Nation, you want the best in news, notes, coverage, entertainment. When it comes to your Crimson Tide football, you access the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. You download the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple. Google Play Store if you got the Android phone. For your audio needs, check us out, iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. The good and gracious Lord sees fit. I'll be back on Monday, continuing the conversation that is Tide football. Remember, Bama fans, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama magazine. Have those sent to your door. That link will be found in the description. If you're trying to get your hands on the fresh edition, print edition of TDA the magazine, you go to touchdownalabama.com. You click join, become a member or a subscriber today. That link in the description also. If you're trying to get your hands on the 4-finger bling necklace, 4-finger bling jewelry, courtesy of our guys that we own, thefourthquarter.com. That link in the description too. Guys, shout out Nona Davis with that $10 donation, dropping that in the super chats there. Appreciate Nona helping us out on the show. Guys, shout out my man Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for TDA, helping us out here on this evening. Guys, shout out you, the outstanding fans of Bama football. All the likes, all the phone calls, all the donations, the subscribing. You guys making this your show, your network, your platform to talk Crimson Tide football with us here. Guys, shout out Eli Walker in the production studio, handling things from behind the scenes. Eli will be on the field tomorrow, getting those awesome shots there for the Crimson Tide on the field. So be sure to follow him on Twitter at Eli Walker 11 on Twitter, as he's out there getting the cool video shots for us on the field there. But until next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives appreciate and value those husbands, children. You guys continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, good thing, legitimate thing to not be bored, enjoying this weekend. Get you those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Enjoy the game tomorrow and the homecoming festivities. Till next time, folks, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith, and you've been listening to In My Own Words.